Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is August 22nd, I think. What happened to August? August 22nd. We are well over halfway through the 100-day challenge. And everybody that's been on has been absolutely amazing. And today is going to be fantastic. Today we have Dr. Shellie Hipsky in the house. You know her. She's been on 1,000 different magazine covers, but she's also the founder of Global Sisterhood. Hey, Dr. Shellie, what's happening?
Hey, I'm so excited to be here, and I'm out of Africa, like the movie says.
Okay, we got to
Just got
start there.
back.
How was Africa? How was it?
Amazing, life transforming. I will never be the same. It was incredible to go there and to work with the different charity partnerships that I've been involved with for some 10 years, some 15 years. It was wild. It was a dream come true.
So, what brought you to Africa? I mean, I know the story, but maybe someone, at the end of the earth does not know what Dr. Shellie Hipsky has been up to.
Well, if they're at the end of the earth, come on into the Global Sisterhood, because we take all people, all colors, sizes, creeds, and everything into the Global Sisterhood. We were on a mission to help inspire and empower women around the world for the last decade of being the Global Sisterhood, and I have really stepped into being able to go into the trenches. When we went to Africa, this trip, we started in Kenya in Nairobi area. Um, we worked at this amazing orphanage. Like, I cannot say enough about the orphanage run by Kate Fletcher, Haikima Place. She has done a fantastic job of it. These girls, I mean, they've been rescued from child trafficking and from having parents pass away from HIV/AIDS to all different scenarios, and they are loved there. They have a family unit there. They are taken in and loved on and educated and just lifted up on the daily. And to be there and to recreate this shed basically into an entire early childhood learning center was
Wow.
amazing. And we fixed the greenhouse and we did so much other work. Then we went down to Tanzania, where in Karagwe, which is a very rural part of Africa, we're talking like some extreme poverty, but a lot of pride too. And they're becoming entrepreneurs at this school that I was able to teach at finally.
Yes.
And I walked in and they said, and they dedicated the whole main building as the Hipsky house, and my heart, it was
Oh.
amazing. And then we walked into the classroom that I taught in, and they named it the Jacobs classroom, and that's after my parents.
Oh,
So because
wow.
they donated through their foundation the wooden tables and benches and everything so that the kids could learn, the college students could learn how to form their own businesses, do everything from sewing to um, creating full farms for sustainable living. So it was
Wow.
amazing. I was teared up a lot that part of the
She says
trip.
I was teared up a lot.
Oh my God. I mean, especially like when your parents are recognized, you're like, wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
that's big. That's
They've
big.
done so much for so many. And then we went down, kept going down. There were lots of flights. I said plane, trains, and automobiles, honey. That's what we were doing. Whatever can get us to the next country. So then we ended up in South Africa, and I've had a really wonderful relationship with Hasina and Shashima Patel there. They run Leave No Girls Behind International, and we
Wow.
were able to go into a world recognized classroom called the Loving Classroom. We I got to teach in there with Camille, who of course. We love our
Fabulous.
fabulous Camille. And the amazing Reverend Nutty Joe. And we got to speak and inspire and empower these young women. But Tico, these ladies, I mean, they are up against it. Like we were told that with the young ladies that we spoke to about 150 young ladies that day. Many of them, too many, one is too many, um, are forced to marry 60 to
Mm.
65, 70, 75-year-old
Oh,
men to garner their pensions for their families. And so they, they're having to sleep with these old men and do all
oh
their
my
their
goodness.
cleaning and everything under great duress. And they're trying to get an education on top of it, and to inspire and empower these young ladies. I mean, they said, I had them say like what their vision was out loud. And when they got up, I'm pulling them up on, making it a stage and
Right.
giving them that big moment for them to say what they dreamed of having in a world where they are discriminated against, they are up against, the child bride stuff, they go through the FGM, the female genital mutilation, there's just so much that they're up against, and they don't really feel like their dreams are their own. It's like those dreams have been taken away from them. But
Mm.
the joy when they got up there and said, I want to be a pharmacist someday. I want to be this. I want
That's
to do this.
awesome.
And then the crowd erupted. Like the other girls were cheering them on. And it was powerful. It was so powerful to be in literally one of the highest crime rates in
Mm.
all of South Africa, there, right in Soweto, where the Nelson Mandela House is, and Desmond Tutu grew up. And so we were right there, but in a very, very rough part of town.
Mm.
But for them to finally say, you know what, if I could do anything, I would do X, Y, and Z. And they just lit up. So it's there is such power in coming together as women. We separated the boys and the girls for that, because we needed to just pour into them as fast and as furiously as we could.
Yeah, because you weren't there that long.
No, and that day their school was closed because there was zero water to be found. Like they had to go home because the
Wow.
water was shut, and constantly while we were there, the electricity was shut off, or the water sources were shut off. And um but they're just so resilient. I mean, Camille and Albert Robb came with us, and they were saying, that the people of South Africa are so forgiving, and it's so true. I mean,
Mm.
my friend Hasina and Shashima, they lived through apartheid. So these problems are so much more extreme than what we're used to dealing with here in the United States. But they're going and they're surviving, and they're really trying to thrive. Um, and
Wow.
and I see that in multiple areas of the world that we're working within.
And speaking of that, I mean, you didn't just go there because it's the annual trip and you wanted to go and help for a few days and come back. You're
Yeah.
actually doing a docu-series about it. The Global Sisterhood is not just, digging in America, in Africa, but all over the globe. Can you just give a little insight on the Global Sisterhood? Proud member, by the way, proud member of the
Love
Global
it, love
Sisterhood.
it. You
You know,
absolutely are. Definitely. No, and you are a diamond member, and we love you to pieces. It's
thank you.
so important. What the Global Sisterhood does is it educates, it provides resources and networks for women and children, internationally, by forming connections and supporting the different movements, the different charity partnerships, and what we call hashtag pop-up giving, when there's a desperate need that needs to be filled right away. And that can be anything from a woman's house burning down, a single mother's house burning down, to a need for getting support in a domestic violence situation. So
Mm.
we are there. We make it so that women don't feel like they're alone, and we can't do that by ourselves, right? So we truly need, the African proverb is, it takes a village. We say it takes a sisterhood. So we have been working throughout the world. We One of the women woman that actually named the Global Sisterhood, Hannah Gould. I've just been in major conversations with her. She is in Pakistan area, very, very rural. She was a huge supporter of the Global Sisterhood 10 years ago, before it was, actually 13 years ago, before it was even like formed officially.
Wow.
She was the one that like looked through the Skype camera to me and said, "Do you know what you're doing here?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know." And she said,
I know.
I was like, I'm just loving on people. And she said, "You're forming you're creating a global sisterhood." And it was then that this light bulb went off. But her sister, so this is a woman that really went through it. The woman, she was running an organization for women empowerment in Pakistan, and her predecessor was actually killed because of her allegiance to helping other women get
Wow.
and then so now my heart is so happy because the when we were doing we wrote the whole Common Threads book series that turned into the Global Sisterhood, that turned into the TV show, that turned into the magazine, that turned into the network, all of these things. But back when we were writing the book series, we were raising funds, and Hannah Gould and her little sister, her baby sister, Omarosa, they created these purses, and they sent them from all the way from Pakistan. I remember getting this big package that was like tied up in fabric, and it had all these stamps all over, and I was like, what is this? And it was these purses that we were able to give as a gift for the fundraising purposes.
Oh, that's amazing.
It really is, and that's one of the reasons that we hit that fundraising goal, was because of that. But what's amazing, Teresa, is that right now we are working on us, because we're always doing these separate pop-up hashtag fundraisers. We're working on getting that same. I think of her a little girl, like she was a preteen at the time. She's in medical school.
Wow.
This young lady is in medical school. They had to sell all that they had. I mean, and this is in a place where, they aren't supposed to be educating the girls. This is a young lady who had the wherewithal, the gumption, the intelligence, the passion to become a medical doctor in Pakistan, in rural Pakistan,
Wow.
so that she can help take care of the other women and children there. And her family sold basically everything that they owned, so that they could get her through the first 2 semesters. And now we're looking into how can we help support or to get through this medical school journey, because it's not a cheap endeavor. My daughter wants to be a surgeon, and so I understand how difficult that would be. So I'm really looking for the special people that are like, oh my gosh, I want to get a young lady educated as a medical doctor in this rural area of Pakistan, where they weren't even able to drive cars, and they weren't able to do this and this, and she is going to be Dr. So and so, and that's just amazing to me. So that's one of the many projects that we have.
Okay, so before we skip ahead, let me ask you this,
Yes,
because maybe people just don't see the big picture. And
yeah,
I have to do a shameless plug right now, because you're in the domino effect, and it's all about paying it forward and that
yes,
moment that changes the trajectory of your life. And her being a doctor, her just making it to medical school has to change the fabric of her community. But her
yes,
becoming a doctor means healthier people in her community,
yes,
correct? It means
absolutely.
other people being able to see that vision. So that one, I guess the visual is, when I was a little kid, my dad would take me fishing all the time, right? And
Right.
he could skip rocks. I could
Yes.
never skip the rock, right? So he started by showing me the ripple effect of the rock just dropping, right? And eventually I learned about getting the right flathead rock and learned how to toss it. But I still see it that way. So when you started talking about her journey, I saw her as that first rock in her community, and all the ripples that can come out of that. So by helping this young lady get through medical school, she could actually save her community, not just save lives, but save her
So
community,
true.
correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. And saving communities is I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Is helping each other. We are a part of a global community, and
Yeah,
we are part of the global sisterhood, and really just wrapping our arms around each other and saying, I got you, girl.
I
Like
got you.
you're not
I got
alone.
you.
Let's figure
But you
this
don't just
out.
do this internationally. Based in Pittsburgh.
Yes,
And I had the privilege of, has it been a year? Oh, it was a year ago. Of a
yes.
year ago, being at your amazing event in Pittsburgh and your community, the Global Sisterhood. I mean, we went down to a store
Treasure House
and you
Baptist, Sally Power.
there you go. And you actually got them, they opened up the store and donated clothing and shoes and to community, to women that were just their eyes just lit up because they could just go shopping. It wasn't, here's a bag for you, hope it fits. It
Yes,
was literally each member of the sisterhood took somebody through the store and said, well, what do you think about this outfit? And we had a little fashion show going on.
oh
So
heck
you're
yeah,
helping women all over the world, from the littlest thing, what we may think is little, a pair of shoes is huge for
it is.
someone who's struggling, to
It is.
helping somebody get through medical school all the way in Pakistan. And the what is it? The East Asia is the next trip next year, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm on that plane. I'm putting my head
Yay.
out there. I'm on that plane.
Yeah.
Is is East Asia. So where did this vision? Because like you said, the young lady asked you, your who named it Global Sisterhood, said, "Do you know what you're doing?"
Yes.
And you're like, "I'm just, spreading the love." Where did that come from? Because that comes somewhere deep in your heart, and we're just following your sunshine.
Oh,
So, how did you say, you know what? I'm not just going to write a check. I'm not just going to support another organization. I'm going to actually get out there, get in boots, be in Africa, help turn a shack into a school. What made you say you wanted to even start doing that?
I I had to. It was it was on my heart so deeply, and I kept making so many friends around the world, and there's so many needs. And if I can, pick up everybody calls my brain like a, Rolodex. If I can pick up
Yes.
my phone or tap into my brain and say, oh my gosh, this person can help you get the funding for that, or this person can help you build this, like why wouldn't I? It's just it's so important to me, and the people that I have been so blessed, like you, Tico, like getting to know you has been amazing. You have poured into the global sisterhood like none other. You have brought your
Thank you.
media, you have brought the attention, you have brought the
I'm a
caring
global
heart.
sister.
Yeah,
We got to bring it
yeah.
all. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And you could have easily just sat back and said, oh, I help this organization, I do that, because you're Dr. Shellie Hipsky. I mean, for everybody who's watching right now, those magazine covers behind her are not friends and family. She's in every one of those. Okay.
Yes,
You've been
yes.
in how many covers over the last
So
10
it's
years or
been
so?
75 magazine covers, including Elle and Forbes and Vogue. And I just found out yesterday that I got my dream cover. I've always wanted to be on the cover of Marie Claire magazine because they
Oh,
have a whole
wow.
socially conscious portion
Oh,
that's
wow.
so near and dear to my heart. And I got contacted by their Asia um, Marie Claire. So I'm going to be doing that one next. That'll be my next big one.
Yeah. I
Announce
mean,
here first.
you're a teacher, you taught for years, magazine superstar, you've had a national talk show, media is your baby. You
Yes.
talk about me, it's like I'm back here, just make sure the camera's in focus usually. And but media is your baby, and every cover, every article, every stage, Global Sisterhood goes with you. And I want to praise you for it, because you could have easily just focused on yourself and said, oh, yeah, yeah, by the way, go check out my foundation. But it's one of the first things you say when you first meet somebody. It's like
Yeah.
somebody says, what do? You don't say, I'm a media executive, I'm a teacher, I'm this, I'm that, I'm award winning. You've gotten the presidential award, of achievement for service. It's like you go, don't worry about me. The reason I'm out here, Global Sisterhood.
Yep.
And then on top of that, you call me up and you say, Tigo, now I want to go to the next level. I want to do a docuseries.
Yes.
I'm going, okay, when are we doing this?
I love
And
it.
you said,
Yeah.
oh, it's in a few weeks. Don't worry about it. We'll get all the footage and then we'll go. So you now have this series coming together that are going to feature amazing women, global
Yes.
sisters, that are helping their community and helping the globe and connecting that with your journeys through Africa, through Pittsburgh, through America, through East Asia, and changing lives.
Yes. Yes.
Do you sleep?
Who needs that?
And then on
Don't
top of
be
that, we got to honor
ridiculous.
you at the Now Honors. I
Yes,
mean, on top of that, you're an honoree. I mean,
I
come on
love it.
now.
Yes, thank you. No, I have often valued service over sleep. Definitely. I
That's a
I
t-shirt. Service over sleep. We
service
got to
over
do it.
sleep. May not be
We
the
can sleep
healthiest
later.
mantra, but it's what gets me through, and it's what helps the ladies that I work to support. It's so important to me, Tigo. Like I have to be there for these ladies and the children, and I mean there's so much need. There's so many people that need us, and now I have a little Purity, and Purity is my did you see her? She's so freaking cute. Have you seen her? She's on one of the
No.
orphanages of Haikima Place that I'm now sponsoring. I love this little girl so much. She's 2.5 years old. She's
Oh
verbal,
goodness.
like boo, 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 in both English and Swahili, and I'm in love. I've got my 2 teenage kids, and my son was like, "Oh no, mom." I was like, "What?" He's like, "I'm gonna come back from college and she's gonna have taken my room." I'm like,
Yep.
"No."
Yep.
He's like, "That cute little kid's gonna take my room." But
Recently I was told and taught, I've been told this for years. I didn't hear it until recently, that your cup has to be full so you can fill other cups.
yes,
And you are a blazing example of that. Your
yeah.
cup overflows with your family, with
Oh,
your
yeah.
community, with the Global Sisterhood. And it doesn't matter what's going on. It cracks me up. We'll have plans, we'll have things going on. And then your daughter has a show or something's going on, and you're like, time out.
Yep.
I'll be right back. I got to go do this. It's amazing. What do you tell women who feel like they're always running on E?
Ooh. You gotta fill it up, girl. You gotta find a way to fill up that cup again, whatever it takes. I mean, if it's going and getting a massage, or if it's pouring into other people, sometimes that can fill you back up again. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
there's a misnomer that if you're always out there volunteering and helping, that it can be too draining. But for me, if I am in the North Side with Reverend Eddie Joe and a long table filled with fresh vegetables and food to support a community, and I get that big old smile from the lady looking at me like, "Oh my gosh, thank you, because I need to feed my kids," that pours, that fills me back up again. That just makes me, and do what you love. Like, if you're passionate about something, like when people are always like, you're a performer and you sing and you dance and you do all this stuff, and why don't you do it, at X, Y, and Z? I save that up and pour it into the things like
Yes,
A
you
Taste of
do.
Broadway coming up in April. And I put on the biggest, baddest performance that you could possibly see, and do it with all my friends, and just, but it's purposeful. It's passion for me, because not only am I getting to sing and dance and act and hear the applause and all that good stuff, I'm raising money for an important cause. And because of those types of galas and performances that I've done over the years, we have been able
Yeah.
to pour hundreds of thousands of dollars into these different charity partnerships over the years. And that for me fills me up. I'm like, yeah, no more E for me.
Wendy Jean says, I'm proud to be a part of the Global Sisterhood. Dr. Shelley is inspirational. Yes, she is. She's a
Oh,
powerhouse.
I
She's
love you, Wendy
amazing.
Jean. Wendy
You
Jean is
know,
an amazing lady too.
well, we need to have her come to the now or be
Yes,
on the show, or I need to know who Wendy Jean is. Let's
you
go.
do. You do.
What's next
Absolutely.
for you?
What's next for me? Okay, so we have A Taste of Broadway. We've got the docu-series. We've got oh my gosh, so many different things. We are looking into, helping with that campaign to help the young woman in Pakistan. We're also looking into really helping back in Tanzania. We walked through with the docu-series the dormitories there for one of our organizations, KDVPA, and the living conditions are not what we as Americans would consider particularly livable. So what we did was we pooled our money right there on the spot. We were able to get them new mattresses and some other things that were vital. But
Wow.
when you see it on the docuseries, Tigo, you're gonna be like, whoa. Um, we walked through this kitchen. We walked through the kitchen, and I do it in air quotes because it was almost like just a bonfire in the middle of the house, um,
Wow.
enclosed, zero ventilation. My asthma kicked in. It was smoky. It was dangerous. I mean, there was branches of tree limbs so that they could heat up the food to get rid of any parasites and things like that, and to be able to provide for these people that are living in this home. Kemi, she's one of our people that we've been working with forever. And if you see on social media or in the docuseries, the red dress with the batik pattern, she designed that. And she's got
Wow.
150 students that she's teaching how to sew, how to create these outfits. And a lot of them have to live in this dormitory because their homes are so far away. So they live in this dormitory. One of the things that we're thinking about is how can we get them a real functioning kitchen so that it's safe, so that house, the dormitory doesn't burn down. So they don't have the funding, the sources, the sustainability to be able to put these things together the way that we would here in the United States to be safe. So we're also
Mm.
looking at that. So there's constant people coming to us saying, I have this need, I have that need. And we have to evaluate those as the board and as the Global Sisterhood and say, okay, we can help with that. Oh my gosh, I know somebody that can send the plans for the kitchen. And then we got Reverend Eddie Joe, who's like, I got a couple more months on my visa. I can get back to Tanzania and I can bring all that in my 50-pound suitcase.
That's amazing. If somebody wants to support the missions that you're on, how do they get in touch with you?
So if they want to donate directly, that's the Global Sisterhood online.org. Don't just go to globalsisterhood.org. It's Global Sisterhood online.org. So if they go there, they can do a direct donation. However much you can do would be fantastic. If you want to be on, say, the cover of Inspiring Lives magazine and really get into the big working piece of the Global Sisterhood, reach out to me. I would love to have you come on as a Diamond member, and we can hook you up with all kinds of wonderful things and friends, and making a difference, a true difference in the lives of women and children around the world.
And I
And
was on that cover. It was amazing. I had a
yes,
blast.
you
That was
look
the first that was
gorgeous,
my first cover. So that was
girl.
awesome.
You were like, I'm posing. I got this. I got my little cameras here.
We'll make sure in the description we put the link in if people want to support, and we'll also
Excellent.
connect them through Tigo Direct so that they can connect. You're amazing. You're a global sister, but you're also a sister of mine. And I know you stand on stages all over the world. And what people may not realize, but they should know today, you may be the face standing there, but there's thousands of us standing behind you,
Amen.
just in the shadow saying, let's
Yes.
go. What can we
Let's
do
go.
next? And I
Yep.
can't thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for just spearheading and being out there,
Thank
because
you.
I know that can be hard to be the face of it all.
Yeah.
Because when, good, bad, or indifferent, they're coming to you. You
Yes.
know, you're coming to
Absolutely.
you. So I want to thank you personally for standing up for all of us and just being out there and being the face of Global Sisterhood. You're changing the world one
Thank
woman at a time, one young girl at a time. And that's absolutely one of the best missions I could think in life to do. Thank you so
you.
much for hanging out with me today.
Of course. Anytime. Anytime, honey. I love it. I
You're the
love you.
best.
Like I really do. I think that what you do is just dynamic and amazing. And I'm so thankful for you and for you being a global sister through and through.
Thank you, sis. I appreciate it. Love you too. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that episode. I know I did. We'll make sure that the link is in the description so you can reach out. Or the easiest thing to do is one, don't call me, text me and say, what did she say? Where do I go? Go to tigodirect.com, type in Dr. Shellie, type in Hipsky, type in Global Sisterhood. She's coming up. Send her a private message. Say, hey, I saw you on the 100-day challenge. I want to support. I want to be a member. I want to be on the cover of a magazine. There's nothing greater than having your face. It's also shocking on the cover of a magazine. It's pretty neat. So reach out. Go to tigodirect.com and just reach out to her. It costs you nothing. It costs us nothing. We just want to make sure that we keep this movement moving. You know, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm Tigo, and I'll talk to you next time.